The next wave flooded into the market, attracted by the promise of selling content, the idea of building an audience and getting income from that audience from 2018 that doesn't work today, was really leaped into the mainstream over the last year or so. I noticed it going mainstream around 2023 when I was talking to people who were telling me about this. And I thought, I've been looking at this kind of stuff for many, many years. And for them, it was new. And that's usually when it's an indication of something's over. And I noticed some of the top LinkedIn people who've made a lot of money on LinkedIn jump to Substack, and they're talking about the same thing we were doing, and they were succeeding at back in 2018, 2019 on LinkedIn, and now they're doing the same on Substack. But the words have changed, and the philosophy is different, but essentially it's the same idea. And on Substack, I don't think it'll be any different. We saw this on Clubhouse in 2020, 2021. Again, the big promise of having this digital company that's being sold to people who will never succeed doing it. And I think the question now is how to get people to care without selling content. It's not going to work without building an audience and without selling some kind of an intellectual content property is a mainstream notion that is now permeated the entire society. That means it won't work because it didn't work, frankly, back then. And even saying this is confusing to some people because it's the opposite of what everyone is saying online. And it's because it's true what I'm saying. And this is this is a common human pattern, and I fell into it for about 2 years, and then I realized, "Oh, this doesn't work," and that was, really early 2023, and I thought, "Well, I gotta do it a different way," and I went back to what had always worked for me starting in the '90s. That always worked every time, and it did work again, and in I think it's important you just ask yourself honestly, "How's it working for you?" What is your relationship to the social media economy conventional wisdom? This is not innovative. This is not new. This is now conventional wisdom. The idea is simple. If I get known and build an audience, I can monetize, make money from that audience with some sort of a product like a group coaching program or a digital course or even on site, off site meetings. That's not true, and it won't work for you. And there's simple reasons why, and I'm going to explain the reasons why, and I'm going to talk about where you are not selling content. We are combining visions because something fundamental has shifted in terms of what's next coming into the market, and it is never more of the same. And this mentality is now on Substack and it's starting to mainstream on Substack. And I thought this is completely backwards from what's actually happened in the marketplace. And I feel terrible for people who are stuck in this idea of the small stacks and let's bond together as small stacks. And, the big stack people will lead us, help lead the way for us in this. It reminds me of LinkedIn on 2018, 2019 that kind of started to really get early adopters in 2020. And LinkedIn saw this because Microsoft's a really smart company and they put a creator strategy together. It was called creator mode when it started. Now it's called corporate creator mode. So corporate creator mode just means if you got enough money to make organic media work, it'll work for you if you've got a really good marketing department. That's true. It won't work for individuals. And the idea of personal branding and that you're going to create an audience and monetize that audience somehow is 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 exactly the opposite of what's going to work for people today. And how do you know what I'm saying is true? And I don't think it matters. I think, well, I wouldn't believe what anybody says about anything. I would think about resonance. So, what is resonance? It means what I'm saying or somebody else resonates with you, yourself, not believing anything. That's called opinions, and opinion is what the basis of our economy is right now. So most people online are talking about their opinions. They're putting out quotes. They're it's hooks, and then they're writing posts nobody really wants to read because they don't mean anything. But people want to feel different, and they want to know there's an easy answer because it relieves the symptoms of pressure. The symptoms of pressure right now in our society are intense because everything's changing really rapidly. And symptom relief is what's being sold online, and not even business pathways. Um, I don't even see business pathways being talked about. They look like business pathways, but they're not. It's symptom relief pathways. So you feel better. And I have fallen into this too, where there's a feeling of, oh, something good's going to happen. And then I'm wondering, why doesn't it ever? I'm watching very carefully the top creators on LinkedIn who are already saying it didn't work. And I'm talking about people who built big audiences. And I know it didn't work for them because I know a lot of them. And I've been in almost all the creator communities, and I've taken most of these courses, and I've done private consulting and coaching with a lot of these people. And I know it doesn't even work for them. And what I'm saying is they don't have stable businesses, and they don't often have businesses they even like, but they got popular. And we saw this on Clubhouse. I flooded into Clubhouse with everybody else when I saw it, and I started a room, and I got people coming to the room because I'd started an event and I'd started a LinkedIn connecting group that worked back in late 2019 after learning how to do all this in the summer of 2020. But I already knew a lot of it because I'd been online using LinkedIn since 2012, which is what I used to create my business, and it did get to 7 figures. So I did this, and the way I did it, I'd never do it again that way because it's done, it's over. Because now if I look at my inbox in any social media platform, it's flooded with people wanting to partner with me, which basically means sell me their stuff. And I don't want to do that because it's exhausting. And I am on Substack. I got on Substack probably about a year ago. And I thought, wow, this company's really cool. And now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I don't know if this is going to work. And what's happened on Substack is you got some incredible people who already have a name that are on Substack. That was the idea. How do you own your content? How do you own your list? And then how do you make money on it if you're a journalist or some kind of a writer or something? And I don't think they're making a lot of money doing it. I don't think it's going to work. And then I see the what are called the small stackers now. They name themselves this, and there's top 10 lists on Substack already. And I thought, well, this is the end of it. It's like a dance competition now with judges. That's the problem. The minute I let other people judge me and I put myself in a ranking system, I believe in the ranking system. Now I'm a small stacker. Even if my ideas are better, and even if I have real skills in business, I start to think I don't. And this is what happened to me on LinkedIn. And I was in rooms on panels, and I'm like, nobody's listening to me. Poor me. Well, it's not poor me. It's that there was a belief system on LinkedIn around the popularity thing, audience plus income. That's not true. It never has been. So I'm going to talk about the 5 shifts, and let's talk about how to stop broadcasting and start collaborating. I'm not talking about not making content. I make content every day. I'm talking about the mentality of I'm small and they're big. That's ridiculous. And a lot of these people who are so-called big are living in their parents' basements, or they had a year where they made, I mean, I've had years where I made 400 grand, and then the next year another 400, and then another and then 300, and then it was down to 50 because something shifted. That's not success in business. That's instability in business. So here's what we used to care about. People would care if we just wrote better. This is the myth. Publish more or nailed the content formula. Not true. Caring does not come from marketing tactics or copywriting skill. It comes from resonance. How do you get to resonance? You have to know your own voice. Every single person I've ever seen who succeeded in life has a voice that resonates in a marketplace and doesn't use marketing because they don't need it. It's always this way. Here's the big shift in the market, too. People don't want to consume more. Most of the people active in these feeds want to be seen. That's why they're supporting that top creator. They don't care about the top creator. They care about being seen in the top creator feed. And that's what the top creators have been teaching since 2018, 2019, 2020. Um, what do people really want? They want to belong to something that's real. The society right now craves connection, meaning, and finding my own purpose. My way, my pathway is what people want, and they want stable income. This is what we're creating and have created for the world. That's why, as a group, and me and started this in 2023, early 2023, is I stopped producing to persuade people, and I stopped thinking about how do I get them to like me? How do I get them to follow me? I don't care if people follow me or not. It's not relevant. And when you hear that, you're like, what is he talking about? Well, it's about listening to a line because the people find each other. This is what's next. I'm watching Patty Smith on Substack. She gets back from Japan. She's exhausted and she just tunes in. Hey, let's talk. And she's just talking. That's how she runs her concerts. And I'm thinking, what if Patty Smith sponsored a group of the kind of people that were like her in the 70s in New York City, CBGB or whatever, this incredible club, with the, Blondie, the Ramones, people like that were playing there. What if that was a community that paid? Wouldn't they? This is what we're doing. This is our strategy. What if it could be done on a platform that that group owned with revenue sharing, profit sharing? I've already done it globally and locally. It just hasn't mainstreamed or completely finished, but it's done and it's working for us. Now that means we don't have to produce to persuade. Patty Smith is not going to market herself. That's not how she got successful. Nobody, Bruce Springsteen, none of them. The artists know. Art has to be commercially viable at a certain point. At a certain point, the marketers show up in the form of record company executives and they try to steal the creative product. Now, today, we who are creative, who are original creatives, not content creators selling marketing systems or marketing ourselves or marketing our creativity, have a unique advantage today, unlike at any moment in history, because now you don't need a lot of money and you don't need a record company. You don't need a broadcast system. We have our own. You don't need a lot of money to start a company and fund it if you're an entrepreneur. And you don't need a publisher if you're an original thinker, but you got to be original. And most creators are trying to get attention for their content as opposed to finding their voice and learning how to communicate clearly. It took me, I started doing this in probably 2012, 13, 14, 15. It took me that long to find my voice. Now, did I succeed commercially? Yes. Yes. So I've self-published a book on Amazon in 2019, and it led to hundreds of thousands of dollars in retainer revenue. It worked, but it didn't work based on permanent, real success artistically, creatively, that comes from vision. Creative intelligence is where the game is today. And AI is helpful. I can teach the AI how to be creative with me as a creative partner. It has nothing to do with prompts. It has nothing to do with asking the AI. I see this being sold on Facebook right now. Asking the AI, what will work to start a new company? What's the gap in the market? There isn't a gap. There aren't any gaps. Original creation is expansive, and it's not going to work. So if you're refining your copy, mastering formats, but you're trapped in a cycle of proving value instead of building mutual vision, you're going to have a problem in this market because everyone else is doing it, because it mainstreamed. It's like what happened with the positioning from the Trout and Rice era from the 70s, 80s. It's mainstream, so it doesn't work anymore. Unless you got real money and a team of people who can figure it out. Then you could do it. If you have a great marketer or a marketing team, you could do it. But if you're just an individual, it's not going to work. We've seen this in every corner of the market right now. Solo creators posting daily while feeling more disconnected than ever. That's why this is happening with the small stacker thing on Substack. They feel disconnected and they want to be like the big creators because it feels more connecting. It won't happen. But you can feel more connected by finding your group and business models that actually work. They exist. Real business models. So this old creator economy, as it's been, is collapsing. And what's exciting to me is what's emerging is something far more powerful. It is not about building a newsletter that gets a ton of subscribers and then funneling them into some kind of $49 a month networking community or content creator community. And it is definitely not selling a digital product and then the meet me events, meet me and my famous friends events. That is not a community. It is not. It's not a group even. And it's just not. So here's the 5 shifts, and then we can explore how to stop broadcasting and start collaborating. So one, um, how to connect your interests to others through shared energy, not copywriting. It's resonance for yourself, and that's spending time with yourself outside of the market thinking. That's step one. Stage one is you got to connect to your own interests and figure out what is the unique combination that makes up me, not for marketing purposes, based on what will work, but what feels resonant for me is stage one. Second, building revenue without digital products is important because nobody wants to pay for content or digital products. And most people don't even want content anymore. They're too overwhelmed. Their minds are full. However, anything that really inspires, elevates, or connects people with each other, that they'll pay for. And we have those models, groups, workshops, different kinds of local chapters, marketplaces, and the content machines we're building allow that. That's what it's for. It's to get from here to there, not to learn more stuff. Nobody wants that anymore. So the big creator problem that moved from LinkedIn to Substack is that old thinking is now on Substack. And it could kill Substack like Clubhouse died. And what happens is everything is like this. So if you look at the internet when it started, everybody put up brochures. And I jump right in. I'm like, I'm going to sell websites. I was working in marketing communications. In the minute I started calling corporate, the marketing people in corporate just wanted their brochure up on the internet. I'm like, this isn't going to work for me. I can't have a real conversation. And I ended up going back to marketing communications because I thought it's more innovative than what was going on the internet. Surprise. And then that changed, of course. So how to win by aligning with the right people. This is the key to it instead of attracting an audience. The audience model doesn't work because they're projecting onto the celebrity and they want to tear the celebrity down eventually. You will eventually be attacked by your audience that used to love you. Anybody in Hollywood, anyone's ever been famous can tell you this. It doesn't matter who you are. They're going to want to tear you down at some point. How do you avoid that? Don't get famous. Don't attract an audience. Align with the right people. It's not as hard as you think. We have in our campus alone all kinds of connect strategies to align with people around shared interests, shared desire, build products that connect with them and will make you a lot of money. And then you don't have an audience that turns on you in 5 years. I see this happening right now on Substack with the LinkedIn top creators because people see through it eventually because popularity is never real. So how do you win by aligning with the right people instead? I already said that. Finally, we'll cover the difference between audience and allies, why vision is the new value. An audience is a passive consumer sitting on the couch. Social media is designed to win over passive consumers sitting on the couch, trigger them so they expand the time they're on the media. So they get to have a voice, but it's not a real voice because they're just in the audience. And people don't want to be in the audience anymore. We've had this for years. I think people are sick of it. They want to be heard. They want to find their people. Most of all, they want to find home. Everybody wants to find home. And for a lot of people, they're isolated and they don't feel heard, even in a crowd. Even the most successful people in the world feel lonely inside their success. This is the solution. And when you align and provide a paid company product to align with those people, it has to be the right people. Was my experiments back with Solopreneur Inc. When I did that in 2023, when I had my school community. We had a really good co-working space concept, and we used an integration of school and Zoom and courses. My audience I built up for 3 years with the signature stage and all the partners. And it started like, okay, this could go somewhere, but it was the wrong people. It was the wrong people because I had allowed myself to give them the feeling I had an answer for them. And that's not real. And I knew it. So I had to close it and start again. But I wasn't starting over because I'd learned those lessons. This was March of 2023, and I started Red Pill Pathway, which led to the entrepreneur experience platforms today. Vision is the new value. You can't go to CPG chat without a vision. It'll just give you information everyone else has. There's a guy right now, he's a billionaire on Facebook. He did exactly what I said. And they're going to tear him down at some point because it doesn't work. And he just launched a massive program. And I sat in on his webinar and it was crowded. And I'm like, they don't know. And I would have like, they don't know. It's not going to work. You can't build a business without a vision of some sort that comes from creative intelligence. No entrepreneurs ever, they have succeeded based on the standards of the society. That's the confusion. But today, the standards of the society are not relevant because the society is saturated with everything globally. And the minute anybody figures anything out, it becomes the new table stakes. That's what's going to happen. It's already happened with AI. Everybody's using it. But do you have a vision? Do you know what it is? Do you know what your purpose is? Do you know why you exist on Earth? That's what artists know. It doesn't mean you're going to be broke. You have to be commercially viable with your creative energy to pay the bills. That's the work, figuring that out. That's how real money is going to get made now in the future. And it's not going to be by selling content or building bigger lists. You can't even email people anymore. We had email deliverability problems with the company going back because it's a sales company, outsourced sales and lead generation company, my other company. And we started seeing issues with deliverability because of Google. They bought a company called Postini, and we saw it with Microsoft. They were trying to keep all the spam out of corporate. I'm like, I'm not spamming. This is really high quality content. Not to them. Did it work? Yeah, it worked. We're spending 4 to 10 to 20 grand a month sometimes on deliverability, which meant higher quality lists, list data, it's very complicated. I won't get into the details, but you're going to build an email list. Who wants to look at their emails and read content? Nobody anymore. It's not wisdom. It's just somebody's marketing content about how to succeed online, typically. I don't think anybody wants that anymore. Plus, it's free. So how do you do this then? You sit at the table with others who share the same hunger, desire. How did punk rock start? How did hip hop? That's how. We're there right now with business. I think it's the first time in human history where the art came into commerce in this way. It's exciting, and anybody can participate. You don't have to have, I have no talent. I don't know how to do anything. But I know how to notice. I know how to adjust. I know how to calibrate, and I know how to leap in fearlessly. And most importantly, I understand the business models and how they work and how to enlist others to do things that I don't want to do or can't do as well because it's too complicated today. And I do it without paying anybody really because they have a stake in the business and the profits, but I'm not giving up equity. It's not that complicated. It's just different thinking, and it takes a while. And I'm like, everybody's going to be doing this in 5 years, what we're doing now. And that's happened to me my whole life. And I look ahead and I'm like, and then I look back and I'm like, oh, it's already now you see. Anybody who's an entrepreneur knows what I'm talking about. You don't need more output, and God forbid you don't not need to consume more input from content creators. That you're just part of their audience to help them make passive income, not you. You need the right invitation and the right container to co-create something bigger than you. That's important. If my business today is not connected to a bigger purpose or vision that's connecting to others in the society, it's not going to work because that's what everybody wants. They want to feel connected to something bigger than themselves. That's what's new because the success in getting things isn't working anymore, even for the people who have them. Now, that's always been true. It's just now it's more obvious because you can see what everybody's doing. And I can see through the stage stuff. I'm like, you're not happy, and I can tell. Or you don't have as much money as you say you do. I can see that. Or third, your ego is so inflated that you can't possibly be telling me anything that makes any sense. And I can see it's not even how you succeeded now as the big stage presenter. So seeing through these things doesn't mean judging people. It means noticing what's next. And then also knowing some of these people who are incredibly successful are doing exactly what I'm saying because people throughout human history have been doing exactly what I'm saying because it's always worked. What I'm saying, it's never not worked ever. So are we in a tulip bubble right now? Are we in a mortgage crisis like 2008? I think so. When will it pop? When people realize. So join us. No sales, no digital products, no secrets, just real work with real people in real time. That's what we're doing as a group. We don't sell content. We have a lot of content. It's wrapped into what we're doing to help people get the result they want, which is connect with others, make money, and be able to live from purpose. Passion elevated from purpose is real. Prosperity leads to getting what you want, which includes money. Chasing money, chasing prosperity, chasing purpose, chasing passion, chasing vision leads to following people on social media who you think got there, who you think got there. They didn't, or they wouldn't be talking about it. If they got there, they wouldn't be acting like they're acting. If somebody is sharing who they are with you, that is not the same as someone telling you what they did using a marketing formula to get you to buy, follow, or like them. It's not only not the same thing, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. We're in a moment right now where we're going to see a tip. I have seen this my entire life, and it's always worked when that moment hits to be on the other side of the tip because you've been riding the wave long enough. This is what happened in 2018, 2019, 2020. The same people that are going to go down unless they evolve. Some are going to evolve. Some of them already have. They're the ones who won in 2020 when all of a sudden I was like, I got to do this differently. And then I started following them. And then in 2020, I stopped. and that's what made all the difference.